What is going on, everyone? It's your guy, Cole Jackson, back here on Road Graders, continuing our journey through the 2026 Baltimore Ravens draft class. Today, we're diving into Adam Randall, one of the more interesting pick for the Baltimore Ravens, given converted wide receiver into the running back position, big body, athletic upside, super interesting prospect. Let's dive right into it, taking a look at the production here from Randall. Obviously, again, converting to running back in 2025. You can see that in the production metrics. And I think what's really interesting is kind of how he took off this year, putting up 800 yards and 10 touchdowns after, only having 4 rushing attempts. And I looked at his game to game from 2024, and all 4 of those rush attempts came against Texas, which was in the first round of the college football playoff. So this is something they were obviously working on. He had played receiver before that in 2024 and 2023, where he had some pretty decent production. He had 22 catches in 2023, 16 catches and 2 touchdowns in 2024 before the full-time conversion. And, one of the big things to take away here, and you'll see this is where the metrics really do line up with the film, is really good grades in zone and gap. And that's, I split up the clips today to look at both. One of the things I wanted to point out here was really how much better he got as the year went. And we'll kind of see that when we dive into his play and break down specific clips. But one thing that I thought was interesting was 3 fumbles in his first 4 games and then just 1 for the rest of the season. I do think that's a critical piece that we'll have to keep an eye on, is just, converted to the position. It's new. And, we know how important it is. John Harbaugh is not here anymore with the doghouse, but rookie running backs holding on to the football, very, very critical. Now, obviously with Randall, the interesting metric to this is him converting over to the running back position. And he comes with some insane upside in terms of athletic ability. 6'2", 232. He is a bigger body, makes a lot of sense as a converted wide receiver. He's not just a big running back. He was a bigger sized wide receiver, and he put together some really good athletic metrics, and you will see that explosion number when we look at it. And I think you also see a good look at his long speed. So one of the things I wanted to try and figure out is, who does he remind me of? Because, we've seen a lot of these converted running backs. A lot of them have been undersized. Guys like DeAnthony Thomas, Dexter McCluster, last year Brashad Smith for the Chiefs. They were all kind of like under 6 foot. So I started looking around, and one of the names that kind of came to mind was Antonio Gibson. He was 6 foot 228. So similar weight. That was a wide receiver in Memphis, and then he switches over. Some similar athletic measurables, not quite as tall, but a bigger running back body on him. Another name that came to mind was Tyrone Tracy, who out of Purdue, who switched prior to entering the NFL draft. So I think that was a similar situation in that he switched to running back, but a smaller guy, 5'11", 209, not quite the same size. And really the name that I kind of came around to was Cordell Patterson. 6'1", 216 versus 6'3", 232, but the same type of athletic upside. Very similar 40 times, especially with the splits. Very similar exact verticals. Very similar broad jumps. I think Cordell Patterson extended his career through his abilities on special teams, and that's really where I think Adam Randall can make an impact. I think he actually had a return touchdown last year. I don't have access to the All-22 film for special teams, so I don't know if that's correct off the top of my head, but I remember reading that somewhere that he had some return ability, and with the new hybrid return rules, obviously that's really critical. He had 9 kick returns this year for 213 yards. It doesn't look like he had a touchdown, so I don't know why I saw that, but nonetheless, could potentially contribute in that area. So let's dive into the film, talk about his skill set and what he could bring. Wait, I don't have the camera angle right there. We don't need my ugly mug on there. So let's dive into it. Start with inside zone. So again, I broke these up by types of run so we could kind of see him. I will say Clemson was more of a dominant gap team than zone, but I was able to grab some. So we're going to start here down on the goal line, something that, we could definitely, obviously we have Derrick Henry, but God forbid anything happens, you need that depth down on the goal line. So we're going to see a nice inside zone run here. And what you see from Adam Randall is when he is getting tackled, given he's a big body, first of all, right here, square on, nice and low as he could go. And his ability to run through tackles and get that extra yard or two is something that he has in his bag. I think this also sets up really nice, inside zone blocks going to the left. He's just going to take that little cut step here, nice and efficient, not too hard, gets into the end zone. So he does that extremely well. See right here, we're going to get a little split look. So that H-back that's lined up here, number 5, he's going to be your split blocker. We're going to go inside left here from the rest of the offensive line. And Adam Randall, nice little cut there. So he's got some nice little hip fluidity to him. See right here, as the overtake block isn't quite getting there, that gap's filled. He's going to correct without completely cutting, and you see him get upfield for another few yards. So that fluidity is really important, and he has that ability to force missed tackles. We're going to get another split zone look. We got right here, going to come across, cut out that backside guy, and 17 gets a free run down on their own goal line. So 17 is going to get a run. This is setting up not very well, and there's that little one cut step that he has. That one cut ability is where I see the most upside with Adam Randall. He has that ability to put his foot into the ground. And you see, we're going to get a nice light box here. So they're going to send a motion guy outside. That empties out this linebacker. So we end up with just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man box, safety creeping down. But this sets up well. We got, our offensive line matched up. We got a double team here. Blocks going to the right. And the linebacker overplays to where the blocking offensive line is. And this is what I mean, that vision to one cut and pop. And there's that type of explosiveness. So the biggest thing right here is as he reads it, that right there's that one cut step gone. The decisiveness for a kid that just switched to this position is what gives me the most hope that there's exactly what Steve Bisciotti said, there's some untapped potential here. Another good look at it here. See, again, we're going to set up that double team. We got to get that right guard to work up to the linebacker. And again, empty box. Sets up nice. We're going to get a nice seal block. Let's hit that gap. Boom, gone. And gone for a good run. So again, that type of explosiveness. There's no indecisiveness. He reads, he cuts. And these cuts, they don't have to be large ones. So right here, as he's going to approach, see, he's planting his foot right there. He's just got to work around, and he's going to slide this right off the lineman without cutting too hard, because we got leveraged defenders coming from this side. And then he's going to once again plant that foot and explode outward. So that vision up the field, make that safety miss, and get into the second level. Almost house that. That's where I see the most upside. Got 11 in motion here. We're going to get another split zone block. And again, boom, right there. Pop that foot, make a cut. You see 5 coming down to fill that gap. They're not able to get off this double team. This gap's about to clog up. I'm going to plant that foot and pop back. Boom. Really like his ability to do that. Another split block here. See right here, we're going to come kick out 11, and we're going to cut that back. And then again, there's that nice hip fluidity. Cut that back right off the bat. So again, the vision, the ability for him to not hesitate, pop that foot into the ground. See right there, if you try and arm tackle him, it can be tough. So right here, there's that pull away, and he's able to get that upfield. And outside zone, I will say, hard to find these clips in this Clemson offense. It wasn't their go-to. Fun rep here. They got Peter Woods, who comes in as a fullback. Obviously a first-round defensive tackle. There goes the motion. We're going to get out an outside zone here against Duke. Peter Woods sets that nice block, and there's that ability to just kind of run off his blockers. And again, right there, run through that arm tackle. So he's tough. If you can't get your head across in a tackle, he's going to run through that arm, given he's a big body with some explosiveness. Right here, watch number 7 play this so poorly. Is that Jalen Kilgore? I meant to look that up. He just plays a little peekaboo there. But Adam Randall, I will say this Clemson O-line is not very good. 53 pushback. He's got to kind of cut wide because of that. But he just sticks on his track and finds a little seam to get that into the end zone. Nice outside track here. And there's, again, this is against a defensive lineman. Again, poor block there. See this from the overtake. I mean, I say poor block. That's a really tough overtake. He's got to get to that outside seal. But again, run through that arm tackle, right there, through. And what I like is as he turns the corner, and this is one of the areas I really saw the improvement, getting nice and low to fit through the gap. I think that's something that he really improved on. when you go from what he was doing in September to what he was doing later in the year. Get those outside blocks again, find that gap. And again, this is just him staying patient, trying to use his vision as best as possible. And he's going to end up getting squeezed here, but nice and low. You see that ball tucked, good technique on the ball carrier. Again, a couple areas that I really noticed improvement throughout the weeks. Going to get another one here. And you see again, as he's approaching that gap, it's clogged up. South Carolina does a really good job of clogging up these lanes, but he's nice and low, gets low to the ground, tucks the ball, and tries to get at least a couple yards. Right here, you're going to see the nice vision. See right there, 53 is going to turn back. 50 is going to give him a little bit of a gap to fit through that. So again, vision, his ability to get low in the gap and explode through. I think those are a couple of things that really came along. Now we get into some of these gap runs. See right here, we're getting that pulling offensive lineman. And then there's that explosiveness into the gap. So this is his, it's similar to the zone concept. So he lets these things set up. He's obviously following a blocker, and that's the difference. He's hitting this gap, but look at him patiently wait. You can kind of see him almost pace his strides. And then once he hits that open field, that's where that explosive athleticism. And again, when he's against these DBs, there's one missed tackle, two missed tackle. You're not arm tackling him. Another one here, you're going to see get another puller. This one could have been charted as zone. It's basically a split zone. It doesn't matter. He's going to get inside, and this is what I mean. His ability to fall through. That should have been a zone play. That was split zone. Almost similar here. But again, his ability stacked up right there. So he's stacked up at almost 2-yard line, but his ability to churn his feet and just be bigger, just naturally being 6', I think that's something that the Ravens could really use. The downside is just from his natural height, difficult to create some of those leverage moments. So that will be something that they need to improve a little bit. Up here, again, there's that 64 pulling back. So a bit of a trap concept here. 64 is going to pull back. They're going to hit that gap. And you see right here, love this part. He basically puts his hand on 64's back, has him go after. Is that Chandler Rivers? It might be Chandler Rivers. Good on Chandler Rivers taking that block on. But you can see what I mean by his ability to kind of follow his blockers. And this is something that I think really developed well. Here we get a tight end and a receiver in tight. South Carolina has this box stacked pretty good. Puller comes around, gets after 0, and he just tries his best. Again, use that vision, follow my blocks, but try and find a cut. And he tries to do it basically by seeing that block happen. I'm going to cut off here. And South Carolina just has, more numbers in the box. But again, good ability to read the blockers. Here we're going to get those down blocks with 2 pullers. You're going to get puller from your right guard and your right tackle. They're going to come down. And again, right there, that ability to pace his stride. So as he's coming right there, you see him nice and high. He is high, but he's waiting for the blocks to set up and then explode, cut back inside, and again, running through an arm tackle for a couple extra yards. Follow the puller. See him cut off that. Really nice ability. I like how he stays tight and low, follows his blocks. We're getting 2 blocks out. Hell of a cut here. This kid's fun to watch. Right there, he lets those blocks set up rather than try and commit. Some players we're going to notice a lot. Big thing here, pass protection. They used him as a pass pro back a lot. I think a big piece of that was the lack of predictability. When he's on the field as a former receiver, you have to respect his receiving ability. But the big thing to see out of him early in his career is his pass protection, because that's what's going to get him on the field. And so I really like his diagnoses are very solid. You can see right here, he's going to come off the play action look. He's going to stay in pass pro. This is a blitzing DB. You see Randall adjust to that. So the way he diagnoses, I think we'll see some examples where his technique needs to improve, his anchor needs to improve. He's got the size to do it. He's got the physicality and the willingness. Some of this is just technique. You'll see him shoulder lean a lot. You won't see him pop his hands too much. You'll also see some just natural anchor issues that he's going to have to improve. But I see a willing blocker. I see a guy that reads the play extremely well. And those are 2 big prerequisites for pass protection. You see right there, good look at where he's going to read. So he's going to read this inside right there. 7's going to come up. His left guard's committed. They have 2 linebacker or 2 linemen, sorry, the right guard and the right tackle committed to a defensive lineman. That leaves this A gap open because they're bailing out an edge, and there's Randall stepping up in the gap. So his ability to read and step into the gap, he's fearless in that sense. Really good look here because we're showing a heavy blitz and they bring it all. And so he's going to step. This is pretty common. When you have every gap filled, you're going to leave one of the A gaps empty for the running back to take on. And that's exactly what Randall does. Snap comes, he steps up into the A gap, boom, and he pops him. So 19 runs free because the pressure outnumbers the blockers. Here again, really good read, picks up 13 coming through exactly what you want to see. You're just going to, again, read the block or read the play. They're going to bring 8 in on a delayed blitz. Behind 13 is going to take the center. He's going to come across, and there's that shoulder lean that I'm talking about. So I think this is just going to have to get cleaned up. And it's not so much the initial pop. The initial pop's fine. It's just after you shoulder pop, you lose a lot of your balance. And you see right there, he's kind of opened that. But he makes QB makes something happen out of it. But again, that read, diagnose, and get himself to the spot. There is no fear in this kid's eyes. Obviously, some good receiving ability. You're going to see him split out into the slot right here. He's going to set a little pick. This goes to someone else. This just shows a little bit of his receiver nuance that he's going to bring to the position right there. He's going to set a nice pick, open that up for the other receiver. So the Ravens have the opportunity to create some opportunities like this where they can start him in the backfield, motion him out, and create some of those looks. He's obviously got swing pass ability right here. And then obviously what he can do running through arm tackles out just to show that he can do those check down plays. So overall, I'm really excited about all this kid brings to the table. There's a lot here to like. I think he's going to fit in extremely well. I think Ravens fans are going to love watching this kid develop because there's a lot to unearth, but there's also a lot of, year one stuff that I could see him do. I think he's going to be able to carry the ball this year a little bit. I think he's going to be able to play a little bit of pass protection. And I think that's going to be a huge advantage to the Ravens and how they develop out that running back room, which is a little bare behind Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry goes down, I don't know who your primary ball carrier is. And God forbid, knock on wood, that ever happens to Henry. But you're going to need a guy like this developing to be able to take snaps. So super excited about what Randall brings. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown. Hit subscribe if you're new here. And as always, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Peace out, everyone.